I like a photo of this over.
So right now, you're on your this morning, so you can have a seat, and this is Ricky, and we're gonna get.
That's so cool. I'm gonna hang out with you forever. I want to take you home.
You stink.
Good picks.
Yeah.
It stinks though.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
Febreze.
Febreze it up.
cool. You have your own splinter at home, walking around.
Yeah. Send me those pics, dude. Those are awesome.
Before we get started, just for my editor, can you slate in your name and your roles? And
No.
stuff? No.
You ready?
Yeah, we're rolling.
I'm Greg Cipes. I'm the voice of Michelangelo.
And I'm Brandon Auman, executive producer of TMNT.
Cool. So I have to ask about this upcoming special. How's this going to be different to Turtles Forever?
Well, Turtles Forever didn't use the original voice cast. So I think that's one of the best aspects of the new special.
Yeah.
Or the new episode, whatever you want to call it. You know, it feels more true to the 80s version. We've got, you know, Townsend Coleman, we've got Cam Clark, you know, we've got Barry Gordon, and we've got the original Raphael, of course, Rob Paulson, who also plays Donatello you know, on the core show. But it's also, you know, I also feel in some ways that it's you know, it feels more like an homage to the 80s version, but it's a lot of fun. Like it's, and we also go to other places that the 2003 version kind of didn't. Like we've got, you know, we've got more of like the classic Krang, and classic Krang's teaming up with our version of Krang Subprime. So it's a lot of fun, and I also think it's funnier than Turtles Forever. But I'm biased. Yeah, no. Cool. Who's next?
Yeah.
So, as writer and producer, you know, how much of the old TMNT do you take to the new one? And then also for you, how much of the old Michelangelo do you try to bring into the newer show?
Well, he plays our version of Michelangelo. So the you know, the original Michelangelo, the '80s version, was Townsend Coleman. So I guess you'd have to ask him like how these guys interact. You know, what they think of each other.
I hate that guy. Nah, you know, I grew up on the original Turtles, and it's for me, it's really, really cool to be in the same room with them, recording and hearing them. It definitely takes me back to my 8-year-old self, you know, sitting in front of the TV every day watching the Turtles, and then, you know, I guess it's making me more of a youthful person, bringing me back that way. But it's fun. Those guys are so talented, and they created something very unique, you know. It definitely affected me in a big way. So it's nice to bring it to the next generation in its new form.
Yeah, it's fun because, you know, like I grew up with those turtles as well, so it's like, you know, just getting to play in that space, like getting to like, there, you know, how often does a writer get to like tap into something that they really loved as a child? You know, how often do you get to like mine all that cool, you know, 80s stuff that, you know, you grew up on and you loved? Unless I have a time machine, there's no way I can, but now it's like, it's amazing. It's like I get to like, and I get to play in both sandboxes. I get to play in like the 80s sandbox, and I get to play in like this new, like this really fun new, you know, cutting edge CG sandbox, and combine the two. Because literally they flip back and forth. First they start, you know, they get transported to the 80s world, then they come into the CG world. So we've got 80s 2D turtles turning into 80s CG turtles. And vice versa, we've got our CG turtles turning into a 2D, you know, transported into a 2D universe, coming back and forth, and then they get transported into the Mirage universe, which is, you know, the original comic book that everything sprung from. So, and we try to make it feel like it's a motion comic, like it's like you're actually going through panels and pages, and it's really fun. It's in black and white, like the original comic, so it's a really cool, you know, episode.
It's turtle-delic, man.
Yeah,
It's
it's
really
totally
good for
turtle-delic.
It's really good for people with ADD. It's just like, oh, cool, watch this.
You'll never get bored when you watch it. There's always something. It's
Something
always,
new.
You'll never like zone out for a second because we're always flipping into a different reality. Like I love the notion of like going into different turtle realities and turtle dimensions.
And there's a lot of them.
Yeah, it's really fun.
You?
I'm just filming.
Okay. Is there, I know you mentioned there's the 80s King. Was there any other villains from the 80s one going to pop up? Or Rat King?
Not in this one, but we are hinting that, you know, we're not done with the 80s Turtles yet. Like, we're going to see more. I don't want to spoil too much because that episode, you know, but we are going to do a 3-part '80s crossover episode that's going to be out like roughly in a year or so. So we wanted to follow this episode up, and that one will have even more villains, more guest stars. It'll be bigger and crazier even than this version, but this version kind of sets up the '80s relationship with our turtles, and it's just a lot of fun. Like I wish we could have crammed more villains into this one, but having Krang and Krang Subprime working together, because they're cousins in our universe, so so the original Krang is cousins with
Not
our.
kissing cousins, right?
Well, they could be kissing cousins. Who knows? Who knows what the Krang, what they're up to in Dimension X? But it's really fun, and some of the most fun I had writing was actually the two Michelangelos, having Cipes as Mikey with Townsend Coleman's Michelangelo, and they're the only ones that can kind of get along because they see themselves in each other. So that's a lot of fun. And you had fun recording with Townsend.
Of course, he's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
I find it easier to get into.
So, this is just like a weird question because I train in martial arts, and the ones
could
that,
take you.
The ones that we actually do train in, the backstory is I was watching my nephew and he was playing the new Ninja Turtles came out, and Comix and stuff started coming out, and it all sounded familiar. So, what technical advisor or how would you guys go into applying that martial arts into the cartoon itself? Like what style or what martial arts style do you get from there? Besides the ninjutsu portion of it.
We definitely, ninjutsu was a big part early on. We actually, in first season, went to martial arts, like a dojo, and there were a few ninjutsu masters, like modern, American ninjutsu masters that we went and actually recorded. We videotaped a bunch of their fighting skills. They were showing off how ninjas would really take down people, how they would try and remain invisible, all those things. So we incorporated those early on so that the show was legitimate, so it felt legit. And then there's also some other martial arts that we'll incorporate. Some of the other villains, like Fishface, uses capoeira, and then we also some of the characters, the Chinese martial artists fight using kung fu. So we incorporate all those different martial arts into it just to give it a feeling of reality. We want it to feel real, legit. We don't want it to feel we want it to have physics. We want it to have a reality to it.
They look at my old karate tapes from when I was a little boy and implement them into the animation.
And then we
I
usually
was Gold Coast champion at the age of, I think I was 13. And it's the Ninja Turtles that got me into martial arts, actually.
Same here.
Wow.
yeah.
So was one of the main schools under, if you knew, was under the Bujinkan?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, because that's what I teach.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah.
So that's what I was saying when we watched that cartoon, and I was just listening from the kitchen, and they're like, Hokuku no Kamae, and I'm like, what is this kid watching? It's and then he's going through the stances and the interaction between them while they were sparring, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sit down and watch this with you now, and that's what brought me back to the newer version, what you guys are making. And now watching my nephew and niece watch this one, and it's yeah, you guys, I approve. You watch this.
That's good. If one of the only things that we can accomplish is getting kids into martial arts, improving themselves, giving them more of a spiritual center, because through Master Splinter they even learn spiritual discipline, exactly. If we can influence even just a handful of kids to get into martial arts, meditation, spirituality, understanding themselves on a deeper level, then everything that we're trying to accomplish has been accomplished. That's the bottom line. We don't necessarily just see it as just entertainment. We want to take it to the next level and have.
Edutainment.
Exactly.
It's edutainment. We're creating real ninjas. Look at us.
Yeah.
That's why we're.
So both of you train? Both of you train?
We do. I usually, I kick Brandon's.
He kicks my butt on a daily basis.
He's one of my gurus. He's one of my masters.
We're both each other's masters. Man, that didn't sound right. Okay, delete that last part. But yeah, I don't train. I trained in Taekwondo as a kid, but
We're meditators.
Yeah, but we both are into meditation and spirituality. We both have a huge respect for martial arts, and we try and spread that out hoping that the kids will get into that, and that's the big goal. Like I said, like, that's what we really want is kids to get into that kind of thing.
Now, as an actual turtle lover who owns 9 turtles, do you guys actually have any turtle pets or like turtles, specific kinds or anything?
My best friend was a turtle growing up, an actual turtle. His name was Vogel. I rescued him in the Georgia mountains when I was a little boy, probably like 7 years old, and he was with me for 5-6 years until my mom thought he needed some sun and put him in the baby pool outside, and he cooked.
Oh.
It was a really sad day, but yeah, I mean, I love turtles so much. Yeah, Vogel.
Do you know what kind of turtle he was?
He was a box turtle.
Oh, perfect.
Box turtle.
Yeah, I've never had any turtles, but I have friends who, even Ciro, who's the other executive producer, he used to have a turtle, and then it just disappeared, like it was outside. It was probably like a hawk or something, or who knows, like
Yeah.
some bird of prey swooped down and stole them away.
I have a really
Raccoons
cool.
take 'em too.
My yoga studio actually that I go to is down here in downtown LA, and it's called Peace Yoga Gallery, and it's it's in the city, and an actual turtle walked into Peace Yoga Gallery studio
Wow.
from the street.
That's
On
a
the
sign.
street?
From the street.
When
Yeah.
was that?
A couple years ago.
Was it before Ninja
Was it a-
Turtles?
It's probably right when we started.
Oh, that's
yeah.
a sign, all right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was he wearing a mask? And he had a little sign that said, "Please teach me."
Yeah. Isn't that cool though? In downtown LA, a turtle walks off the street.
Was it a
How was
baby?
it small or
Yeah,
big?
it was
Yeah,
like
'cause they sell those usually on the streets down there, so.
Wow.
yeah.
Good to eat.
They
And
probably
she-
wandered in.
And my yoga teacher's a big turtle fan. It's so funny. I gave her the Ninja Turtles backpack. She wears it all the time. She's so sad.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Awesome.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have you guys swap tables.